Greetings, friends. Once again, it's an honor to welcome you back to Rick's Garage. I've achieved a milestone of sorts on my channel. This morning I woke up to 6,000 subscribers. I want to thank you all for that. I know 6,000 subscribers isn't a huge amount compared to some channels, but to me, it means a lot. It means my channel is steadily growing, and I want to thank each and every one of you for that. Today I have a brief video for you concerning these calipers, brake calipers that you see before you on my bench. The glide pins were so stuck that I had to cut one of them off. And the subject of today's video is I'm going to try to salvage these calipers and carrier brackets. Now, there's no shop in the world that's going to try to save these for you. They're just simply going to put new ones on. As I've said many times before, a shop, a repair shop, or a dealer, they're not in business to save you money. They're in business to make money. And to spend an hour or so trying to salvage these calipers makes no sense to them. It's much easier to buy new ones and charge you for them. It's easier for them and they get to make more money. But you, as the do-it-yourselfer, if you want to try to save yourself a buck or two, by all means have at it. These calipers are off of a Jeep Patriot, and they go for about $100 each. So we're going to try to salvage them. Okay, friends, I've got all the parts out from the back brakes. All these pins had become frozen, and I had a lot of trouble getting them out. Matter of fact, this pin I had to cut in order to get it off. It was so badly stuck. So now I'm trying to determine whether I can reuse these calipers or not. I'm going to have to replace all the glide pins, so that's something that we're going to order brand new. And in order to get the glide pin out on this side, I'm going to have to remove this hose. And I'm going to have to remove this hose anyway because I decided to replace it. It's slightly damaged right there. So we'll be getting at least one hose. And I'll get this cut off bolt out of here. It's not going to be a problem getting out of the caliper itself, but the caliper carrier bracket, it's frozen solid in there. So I'm going to start working on these on the bench, and we'll see if we can reuse them or do we have to buy new calipers. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this hose here. This is the hose I want to replace because it's damaged right there. Now, for some reason, this is not a metric size. I thought by 2012 everything was metric on the American-made vehicles. However, I couldn't find a metric size to fit this, and it just so happens that 11/16 fits it quite nicely. So don't throw away your SAE standard tools just yet, friends. Okay, we're losing a little fluid out of there. I'll put a rag there to kind of catch some of that. So you can see right here, there's a little damage to this. So any damage whatsoever you get on a brake hose, you've got to replace it. So this is going to be discarded and we're going to get a new one. That's one of the things we'll put on our parts to order list. Now the next thing is to get this out of here. And I believe that's a 14 millimeter. So it looks like that's coming out fairly easily. Okay, I knew that would not be a problem getting it out of the caliper. The problem is getting the other end out of the carrier bracket. We may have to buy a new carrier bracket if we can reuse this caliper. Okay, the next factor in determining whether we can reuse this caliper is to see if we can get the bleeder nut open. So I'm going to take a pick and I'm going to clean around the edge, give the penetrating oil an opportunity to get in there. I'm going to put some penetrating oil. It helps that you've got the caliper in such a way that gravity isn't working in our favor here a little bit. We're giving it a few love taps just to kind of shock it a little bit, to let some of that penetrating oil get in there. I like to use coil. This is an 8mm, so I'm putting an 8mm wrench on there. I'm going to back the camera up a little bit so you can get a better view of what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to take my hammer, and I'm not going to try to force this right away. You'll snap it for sure. So what I want to do is kind of shock it as I'm trying to turn it. So I'm just going to give it little taps. I'm going to tap it back the other way. See if I can get it to move a little bit. And it appears to be moving. So now I'm going to try to work it back and forth a little bit. There we go. Okay. So that's good. So the, oops, I just hit the camera. I apologize, folks. So that's good. We got this thing loosened. So that's one. The next is to see how well we can press this piston in. Does it go in easily? Does it give us trouble? If it binds at all, then we're going to replace this caliper. Okay, I'm ready to press this piston back in. If this goes in nice and easily, then chances are good we can reuse this caliper. I've got a tray under here to catch any brake fluid that might come out. So this is a caliper wind back tool. I'm going to put this in, line it up. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to attempt to press this in. Seems to be going in very easily, very smoothly, with hardly any effort at all. So, oops, we're losing some of our fluid. Alright, that's it. That went in nicely. So, for all intents and purposes, we can reuse this caliper. The issue is, can we reuse the carrier bracket? That's where the glide pin is stuck. So I'm going to work on that next. I've got the caliper bracket here that I had to cut off the glide pin because it was totally frozen in there. So I don't know if we're going to have to replace this caliper bracket or not. We're going to see if we can get that glide pin out. I've soaked some penetrating oil on it. And as per usual, the camera is exactly in my way. It's always interesting trying to get a job done and trying to give your audience a good view and having room to work. Now it looks like no, I'm not budging that thing. Absolutely not budging that thing. So, we're going to heat it up. There's no brake fluid in there. So we're going to heat it up and see if we can get that out. So I'm going to reposition it a little bit. Okay, friends, I'm going to have to resort to extreme measures to try to get this pin out. Now, there's no shop in the world that's going to try to go to this extent to save their customers money. But because I'm retired and because these are friends of mine, I'm going to do so. Alright, I didn't get it cherry red. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cool it quickly and then see if we can get that out. All I'm using is water. Looks like it might be moving a little bit. Yep, it is. All right, so that looks like it's working. So I didn't have to heat it up too much. And it looks like it's going to come out. Let me get a little hammer and tap it. Tapping it out, working it back and forth. These are what they call PATRIOT nose pliers, by the way. For those of you interested, they're specially designed for clamping onto a round surface. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the position of this so I can get penetrating oil down in there. Alright, so I've put it in such a way that gravity will kind of work in our favor a little bit, and I'm going to put some penetrating oil down in there. And we're going to continue to try to work that thing out. Let me tighten up my vise a little bit. Looks like that thing's working right out of there now. So I need a little penetrating oil in there, and that thing is out. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be able to save this carrier bracket. Now that we've got the pin out, a simple bottle brush isn't going to cut it. We need to resize these holes because of all that rust buildup in there. The size you need is a 25/64 drill. So, and you want a drill that has a fairly slow RPM. And also, make sure you have some sort of safety glasses on. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Let's get the other one. Look at all the stuff coming out of there. Okay, I'm going to put a little oil in there. We're going to hit it again. Okay, we're going to prepare the rest of the caliper bracket. We're going to wire brush these journals. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little key file and I'm going to clean up the any high spots on these journals. The reason we do this, as I've said many times before if you've watched my channel, is they call these floating calipers. Not only does the caliper need to float, but so do the pads. So you got to make sure they fit properly and they're well lubricated. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to first hit it with the wire brush. And then I'm going to clean out any scale that we can't get with the wire brush with this, my favorite file I call this. I keep it right with my brake tools. Okay, that seems pretty good. Many times people don't clean these and then they wonder why their pads won't fit. And they force the pads on and then the pads get stuck and your brakes will wear unevenly and they wonder why they have to do their brakes again a year later. There's one more thing I want to do to this caliper bracket, and that's to clean up this area here with a dust boot seal. Okay. Now that we've got this bracket all cleaned and ready to be used, I just want to do that bottle brush thing. I've already, you saw me use the correct size drill to clean out all that rust and scale out of there. So now we can go ahead and do the bottle brush thing. So I'm just going to fill that up with brake cleaner, just in case there's anything left in there. Fill the other one with brake cleaner. Alright, now I'm going to do that bottle brush thing. Dump all that out, and this is ready to re-lubricate and install the new pins. Well friends, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. It's already quite a bit longer than I had intended it to be. In salvaging these two calipers and their brackets, we managed to save the owner of this car about $200, which is quite significant. Now, what remains to be done is to lubricate this caliper bracket, or some people call them the carrier bracket. Some time ago, I posted a video on how to do that. So what I'm going to do is link that video to your left at the end of this video, along with another video that I hope you find of interest. And to your right at the end of this video will be a picture of my avatar in the form of my trusty German Shepherd. By all means, feel free to click on that should you wish to subscribe. So thanks again, and we hope to see you all very, very soon.